Pony Soldier, Frank Bob S. I'm not that late. Dennis, Rennie Petty, Matty England, Beard. The Beard is here. Karatim.com, Mr. Eggcake, K. Eberhardt, Zeba the Fat, Horavax here, Tom Houston, Norm Swan, Rifleman, The Elmonk, and I think it has just actually started. This is good. So, greetings and how are you? Let's sterilize. I could sterilize you with this, which I've just made the video about. That was why I was very slightly late, because I was just finishing uploading it. It's the little USB-C anti-germicidal, stick it in your phone, does not really an awful lot type of UVC device. So you're getting the proper UVC, you're getting the splendid fake UVC UVA, which is not UVC at all. So sterilize. Since apparently COVID is still very fashionable at the moment and still rampaging around. Your room is tilting. Is it tilting? I do need to adjust things. There we go. That is the room tilted back. Right. So let me think. Eyeballs have melted, indeed. So, Clive Quake, indeed. Let me think. Greetings back to Post Falls, Idaho, Big Don. Refreshing fake UVC, it's much safer. We want real 400 watt UV, it's here, but just not, I've got the lamp round the corner, but no ballast for it. So, with that in mind, here's to the fluorescent tube industry, which is about to be shat on by the Karens. To the fluorescent tube industry. Oh, let's ban them because they've got mercury in them. Have you seen what's inside LED tubes? Not sure which is worse, but the LED tubes definitely don't last as long as a good fluorescent tube. Why do LED streetlights seem to go purple colour when they're filling? It says Bob Apples. It's because the phosphor falls off the front of the violet emitter that makes it light up. It's a single wavelength emitter, the violet one, that stimulates the phosphor to emit white light. And sometimes the phosphor apparently falls off, makes them that exquisite violet colour. Tubes finish next February. This is bad news. What's going to happen with germicidal tubes? Ever sent the apprentice to get the fluorescent tube bender fan plant? Well, you know what? You can bend fluorescent tubes. You may not be aware of this, but you can. And I mean that for real. If you looked at the old escalators before they switched to LED, you'd see that they had curved fluorescent tubes where the handrail comes along, curves up. And those started off as straight, pre-processed, ready to go 8-foot fluorescent tubes. And they were slipped into a fiberglass sleeve with heating wire round it and brought up to temperature and then gently curved over a form and allowed to cool back down again before it was slid off. Those were actually shaped fluorescent tubes. Baldy Baines, indeed, it is a bit shiny, yes. Nice haircut, Clive, seriously. GS1512, that's courtesy of the skeleton shaver, which will appear in a video. The patrons will know what I'm talking about. The patrons won't have seen this one yet because it's not been released to them yet. That's because it's just been made. And it didn't melt the fiberglass. No, Phenotical. They didn't take it up to the point it melts the tube completely. They take it up to the point that it becomes malleable. There's a point just before that, the transition of it melting and collapsing completely, that they can just gently bend the glass. Ekolowski put a 90-degree bend 8-watt tube once, as did I, and it's quite amazing that you can... It does collapse in a bit if you heat it over the gas cooker, and the light still passes through, but even though it's all crumpled in that area. I spent a lot of time melting fluorescent tubes over the gas cooker. Not wearing a supercomputer. The supercomputer is down here. I lost the magnets recently. I don't know if I've not found them yet. I need to find another magnet to stick this on, because pinning it on isn't terribly practical because it's a short pin and it's a fairly strong, fairly thick fleece. I could use that. That'll definitely work. I'll never get the thing off if I use this magnet. Is that going to work? Yes, I've now got a magnet stuck firmly to me of great force. Magnets have gone over a year for nautical. It's not the big magnets, it's the little magnets that I just lost. A baby probably ate the magnets. Well, as long as it eats one multivogon, that's fine. If it eats more than one, that's the problem. Wear your steel toe cap boots to find them. That would involve trampling all over the Gadget Mountain, so that's not practical. I maybe did swallow it, John Key. Next one I rip out, I'm going to bend one fan plant. Just go easy with the heat over with a gas burner. Just rotate the tube like a neon bender would in front of the gas to get it soft, and then gently as it goes, just bend it round, and then don't just take it away from the heat at that point. Keep playing the heat round it to let it cool down in a controlled manner. Otherwise, it will just crack. Your blood is pulling there by the magnet. It will, but you know, it's also curing me of all the ailments. Any orange stuff? No. There may be orange stuff in the vicinity, but right now I can't really think of anything orange in the vicinity. I wonder if perhaps this crimping tool will suffice. Not sure it's for crimping. Live check, indeed. If you've just joined the stream, make sure that you've not been started right at the very beginning. Make sure we're not sort of live over in that direction there. It should have the little red dot saying live. That's assuming it is still alive at the point you watch it. The power supply in my computer exploded rather violently. That's what they tend to do, Happy Little Fox. There's no subtle finale for a switchboard power supply. Huge power bank, Thomas. What? Power bank? Your clock is 2 minutes ahead. Is it getting faster? Once on the 26th of March, what is it now? It's the 18th. In 12 days, I will be realigning with American time because I know your clocks have gone forward. That's when it comes to the weekend and we lose an hour of our free time. Glitter fart, Big Clive live, indeed. Scrolling. You guys are having a weird discussion before. I wonder if any of you turned up early because, of course, your clocks have gone forward. Sorry about that. Huge orange power bank on shelf. Oh, yes, this orange power bank is running the supercomputer. I've not plugged in this. I could plug this one in. Maybe I should have charged it, or maybe that's just a bad connection. It is a bad connection. Okay. That is why I'm an hour late. Indeed, Pseudomemes, because it's just normal time here. We've not gone forward yet. How's the Glasgow trip? The Glasgow trip was fine, Monkey Man here. I got lots of technical shite to bring back, which was quite interesting. Random woofle time. The woofle comes at past. Can we have the neon supercomputer back? Neon supercomputer. Neon. I do have a neon panel, but I've never actually had it on display, unless you're thinking of an orange one. Is it next weekend it changes? Oh, it is. Yeah, on the Sunday, but the next stream will still be 1 hour out to the Americans. Didn't you have a multi-neon flasher? I do have a multi-neon flasher. I should make a new one. Connector War, you're trying to connect with us. The Connector War thing, Noosa Cat, is because that video about the Wago connectors, did you read the comments? It's like they were all feuding about, you know, I'm never going to give up my screw terminals. They'll never make a good connection. I used those stab connectors in the American sockets and they all burned out. Nothing similar. Or screw-its. Nothing will beat the what do they call it? We call it screw-its. Mirettes in Canada and wire nuts in America. We have them here, but we don't use them. They're available though. A lot of people do use them. Screw terminals are wank, Phenotical. Thank you, Colin Ivers. Much appreciated. A multi-neon flasher sounds like a cricket match in a parallel universe. Indeed. Once were nuts and proud. The people complaining that there have been videos showing people overloading the connectors and they burst into flames. What they don't mention is that the wire was actually visibly glowing red hot when they actually burst into flames. So it wasn't just the connector at fault there. I don't trust wire nuts for grounding. That's reason enough. No St. Patty's Day. Is it St. Patrick's Day, Peter Stevens? I couldn't actually have told you that. Top of the day to you, etc. We don't really celebrate it. I'm in the middle of the Irish Sea here, and I'm not celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Do the Irish even celebrate it? I think it's very much an American thing, but I'm sure they probably do. Wire nuts are slower to assemble. I think they are, Monkey Man here. Maybe I should do a test with that. It was yesterday. All right, okay. That's okay. Is everybody vomiting green because like they had green food colouring in all their food and beer and stuff like that? And where is it they put loads of sodium fluorescent into the river and then they drive backwards and forwards in motorboats to dye the whole river green? That doesn't sound like an ecologically sound thing to do. Plastic is flammable, so unreliable. Yes. Chicago. All right, okay. Ireland go nuts on the drink on Paddy's Day. They go nuts on the drink every day, Stuart Cleary. It's a tradition in Ireland, especially at the weekend. Oh, your power supply popped the breaker in the consumer unit. That's not unsurprising, to be honest, if it's gone really bang, because the breakers trip very easily. Dublin vomit vacuum vans will be working overtime tomorrow morning. That's disgusting, Dances Aardvarks, but probably true. Tampa too. All right. Do they just celebrate or do they dye the river, Norm Swan? It's one of these things that if one city does it, everybody else will do it. I bought 2 pints of Guinness yesterday for 12 quid and they were in plastic cups. That's not good value, a Sky West. Do you know what I did not find while I was in Glasgow? I popped into a couple of the Metro Tesco's, but I was hoping to find one of the new Guinness NitroSurge units, the little ultrasonic surgers that you clip onto a can, but I didn't find them. I shall find one and take it apart. Stickable, I've never understood the wire nut. Maybe for prototype but never installation there. Well, sketch. I think it's just because it's an old thing. It was established early on. The first ones, the ones that I came across in the past, not used, but came across in wiring, were ceramic. And I think they had the thread as ceramic inside. I don't think they had a separate metal insert. The Moret is French for wire nuts. Oh, right, okay. ELW. Steven Seagal, I have confirmed the live bit. Yes. Why would you use sodium fluorescence to dye river green? Sodium fluorescent, Jonathan Hughes. The same thing I used to dye the radium gin, that fluorescent yellow colour. It's used as drain tracer dye. Green milkshake is a caterpillar smoothie. It just sounds disgusting. Milk should not be green. In my home, we go burn to half because one day electricians put aluminium wire in it, F-Dog 16. The aluminium is a terrible idea, full stop. You can't put aluminium wires into a Wego terminal because it's basically aluminium with its high resistance oxide coating against copper. It's going to burn up. So you can't blame Wego for that. They're not rated for aluminium cores. Nothing's rated for aluminium other than the dedicated connectors. Mr. Eke, as you're shaving your head, I can fancy you again now. Was it putting you off with my big, huge, long hair? Wasabi milk. Did the radium ever cause you any problems? Not that I'm aware of. There's no actual radium in it. It was just sodium fluorescent. Paul, drink of the night. I'm not really sure, Spookswood. How many options would you put into it? Lime milkshake is green. Praga Walker, not sure I've had a lime milkshake. For the people that I've relate to, we're already satanized. Yes, Frank. Talking about satanizing, You've mentioned my beard is white in Clive says nuts and proud. That's because I trim this one down to here, but then it's like, yeah, it sticks out a bit. Uh, I've mentioned in the past that I occasionally get visual disturbances at night and see undesirable things. And I have a little light in the bedroom to protect against that. 2 nights ago, I woke up, not sure if I was just drifting off to sleep at that point in time or if it happened in the middle of the night. Don't know what time it was. Woke up and there was flickering in the room. The actual light in the room was flickering up and down. And I thought, is that one of the LEDs failing or something like that? And I looked out. Thank you, O'Brien Will, 2003, much appreciated. I looked out from under the covers and the mirror had this randomly shaped portal in it, glowing bright red, deep ruby red, with sparkles like glitter just shimmering all over it, and objects behind those glitters. And this is mirror. And I thought, fuck, and I like looked on it, put the head on the covers, looked out again. It's still there, locked in the same place, and it's just like ignore it, ignore it, ignore it, and it went away. But let's just say last night the light was on all night. Fuck that shit. That's just weird. That's more intense than normal. Not sure what triggers that. But I'm right, some Wago supports aluminium cable. I've never come across a Wago designed for aluminium cable. Henrik Ostrov. There should be some sort of paste usually in these things. And it's like the mirror was in a cupboard. It was like sitting, there was clothing behind it. You need feng shui. I need a fucking vicar. A priest. Ketamine, no, nothing, no drugs. And it's like, it was very bright. But the fact that the room intensity was fluctuating up and down was odd. Might be lead poisoning, Kink. It could well be a Kirker. No, this is just keep your phone in hand to film it. Pulse something. The phone is next to bed, but I don't think it would actually see anything owing to the fact that as soon as you just distract yourself away, it's gone. You look tired today. I have been tired recently. Sleeping well when portals haven't been appearing in the fucking bedroom mirrors. Very unpleasant. And keep in mind there was slight ambient light in the room. I could see things in the room just normal, but it's just like, that was bright. I don't think there was a fire engine outside. It was very attractive. It was a deep red and it was very bright and sparkly. And locked in place. You could look around and it's just locked there on the wall, on the mirror. And it's like, yeah, amazing what the brain can do. Hope it was the brain. Go through the portal. No. Solo. Lucid dreaming, I think. It may have been dreaming, but it's very hard to tell. It's not a new experience, though, is it? That stuff happens all the time. No mushrooms required. Not really stressed out, Pete Webb. Sleeping quite well. Fragga Walker, would you honestly just step through a random portal that appeared? No, Matt England. No, I'm not going to go through any portals. That's right up there with speaking to the shadow people. Not going to happen. Thank you, Henrik Ostrov. I think it was a website there was text about it. I've never checked that. I avoid aluminium cable. Always go to the light. No, don't, Okurka. Go away from the light because it's full of Christians and no dogs or cats. It's a horrible place. I always carry a rechargeable nightlight with me because I'm constantly travelling, says Frank. So last night I left what can replace copper? Copper's the best thing, full stop. No, pseudo memes. I'm not going to speak to the shadow people. The last thing I want is to start conversation. But interesting. It doesn't happen that often. The closest I compare that to in intensity was the green skull bouncing around the room in the past, and that was completely and obviously fake to the point that lying in the bed, I just looked at it bouncing around the room and thought, oh, really? That's not even realistic. Did you tell June? No, June hasn't visited since I revealed that I see stuff occasionally. So copper is better than silver? Well, James Speakman, you don't really want to wire your house in silver or gold due to cost reasons. I'm sure that people in the audio industry, the audiophiles, will love to wire their house in like silver and gold though. Copper plated silver is best realistic option. Never really thought about that. Thank you, Roger. Much appreciated. I'd like to thank you for the tip about boric acid in the boots for foot fungi, nail fungi. 90% better now. You're the man. That's good that it helped. Are European aluminium wire superior to that American stuff? It's got more syllable. Oh, yeah, it has more syllable. Thank you, Blair Vesey, for the Exorcism Fund and Stuart Cleary. Just money flowing in to afford. I'll soon be able to afford the priest to come in and wave their fucking wee aroma thing around, whatever they call it. Silver oxidizes. Silver is used in electrical contacts, Horvath, but I know sure which is best. I suppose all metals oxidize. You don't want to make it too expensive, your wiring, because then all the people come in and steal all your wire. Elliot, we could wire a house in potassium and sodium. You start first, but make sure you video it. Supercomputer crashed. Oh. Yeah, something's not happy, is it? Is it the power supply or is it just a bad connection? It might be a bad connection. I think it might be a bad connection. It's, no, I get the feeling the thing is, it needs charge, probably. I shall put it here, out of the way. Silver tarnishes, gold does not. Then it'll have to be gold-plated wiring, but that's definitely going to get stolen. And it's going to be quite expensive. The loop main supplier from me to my neighbour next door is aluminium with orange outer sheath on it. Oh, right, okay, Graham Shaw. That's the utility industry does use aluminium. If you saw that clamp thing I showed that clamps onto the bundled, what do they call it? Overhead bundled conductors. I'd have to actually look that up again. But they are aluminium. Silver binds sulfur. Ah, thank you, Stuart Cleary. Were you scared at when you seen that portal thing in the mirror? Not really, because it's just one of many things that's happened through my life. But it made me think maybe I should charge my little night lights or just leave it. It's only 1 watt, the bedside light, so I can leave it on and it's fine. What's the time, says Lyd Edwards? I wonder what time it is. It's time to create a smouldering portal. So let's get the electron ignition on. And let's get the lavender scented whiffle juice. Because it's lavender bubble bath. And whiffle. Whiffling. Whiffle. I wonder how many kids see stuff like that, like I do, and they tell their parents, and their parents are, oh, don't be silly, it doesn't happen. And they probably don't realize their kids are actually seeing it. Those electronic lights, they are quite ferocious, Maxis Boostus. No, the beard is safe. I would have just got rid of the mirror. Well, the whole wall is effectively a mirror. It's a mirrored wardrobe cat thing, but it's the full length of the room. Thank you, Roger. Much appreciated. Exorcist Money Train. Thank you. I'll be able to afford the Pope at this point in time. And Telecast 458, thank you. Ever suffered sleep paralysis? I've not. Only happened once to me. Felt like 240 across the brain. Instant rapid vibration. Most unpleasant. I've never had that. Hopefully I won't get it, but you just never know. A friend got it. A friend who's a criminal psychologist and thought I was basically just talking nonsense when I described the things that I must have told about the shadow people, and then he found out what it was. And it's him who told me it was hypnagogia, because then he researched it. The beard's bushiness is accentuated by the baldness of the bonds. It does have that dramatic effect, yes. It is the Twilight Zone. You are now entering the Twilight Zone. In this case, no, he did have sleep paralysis. He woke up with someone standing next to his bed and he couldn't move. And suddenly realised, oh, Clive wasn't talking shit. What the shadow people you see, Bob, it's apparently a thing your brain does. You know, if you take a picture in the dark and the camera is basically, it's at the limit of its sensitivity. It's like maximum sensitivity, and you can see a graininess in the image. Your eyes do that too, and your brain tries to make images out of that, and it can create the people. Because I used to be, well, would still be if I turned the lights out, that lying in bed I'd see people milling around, just shadows walking around the bed. Scary stuff, but all explained by common sense. That's what they tell us. Indeed, there are people who want them to be more, but you know they're not. Repari, tell you what's fun is sitting alone at night and see people walking around. Indeed. And again, no, I didn't try talking to them. Mr. Eggcake, oh, that is a load of bollocks. Well, I disagree because I actually see people walking around the beds. So there we go. Honestly, a lot of people like you, almost as if you were out in a crowded area. You just ignore them, indeed, Rupert. You certainly don't. People say, why don't you talk to them? And because they might answer back fundamentally, is why you don't talk to them. And to be honest, if it's another dimension, do you really want to go there? Is it a good thing? Maybe opening the portal is like you can never close the door again. No. Be able to see ghosts is not a gift. It could be. That's what could happen. I could say, who are you? We've come to see if you have a television in your house. Chris Hines, it is just a silhouette. Some people claim to have seen the burning red eyes in them. I'm not sure if that's true, but you know, it might just be their brain fills it in. My dad used to see faces coming out the wall as well, so it's just a standard thing. I don't think it's sleep deprivation. I've been sleeping really well. I really don't want ghosts. I mean, what happens if you're spanking yourself off and it's like, it's bad enough that God's watching you, but all these other ghosts, like your grandma and thing, going, oh, look at that, dirty wee bastard. Ralph, indeed, makes a living out of dead people. That is true, Chipmunk. I wonder if he used to store his top hat upstairs. I wonder if it's still there. Not that I particularly wish to put his funeral director top hat on. It sounds a bit unhygienic. It's been all over death. Your gran did it too, you know. Everybody does it, Spider Driver Lee. That's how you work out if you're gay, just in case you've not worked this out yet. If you're saying, oh no, I'm asexual, I don't have sex, I don't have an inclination to either side, what's the image when you masturbate? It doesn't matter if they've got clothes on. What's the image? That's your sexuality. Unless it's sheep. That would be bestiality. Yeah, anyway, there we go. Some medication give you, I don't really, I've had the fractal images on a regular basis, Naismith, but I've not been doing drugs around that, except for painkillers. Because I've had problems with my back. Phil in the kitchen sits rocking in a corner, indeed. Ah. 30 minutes in before demonetization. They've changed the rules, Monkey Man, here. It used to be you're not allowed to swear within the first 30 seconds of a video. Then they changed to 15. Now it's you're not allowed to swear within the first 7 seconds of a video, but you do have to declare it if you do, which is awkward because, as with Dave the EEV blog, he says bullshit and I say, oh shit. And I don't mean it as a rude word. So I don't even know I say it. And it's like, if I said the F word, yes, I'd make a wee note saying I swore and declare it. But when I say shit, it's just a natural word to me. Thomas and Bernie, I don't want a funeral, just cremate me and that's it. That's quite dark, but yeah, I'm agreed in the same way. The candy stripper hat looks real nice on you when you wear it. John Possum, do you wish one? Do you wish one of those? Hold on, I'll give you the eBay link to get yourself one of the candy stripe hats because it came from eBay. And it's cheap because it's classed as workwear. It's a waiter's cap. I got it because it was a bit of a spoof on Ralph, and it was just I thought it was quite funny to do the Disney version. Let me just find this for you. And it's not even expensive because it is just a work item and it's mass produced in China. I have had one delivered that was quite an odd, unusually small size. They don't seem to let you choose. But anyway, here is a massive selection that you can choose from. But at this link right here, this is a UK link, but if you look at it, you'll be able to use the same keywords to find the American ones or get it from AliExpress. They might even give you a choice of size. Set up a dash cam for the room and leave it running, Big Clive Live. Do you know the absolutely last thing I want to do is watch video footage of shit going on in my bedroom, paranormal shit. That would not be fun. Tell you which, my new phone has arrived. It can see orbs because it's got 3 cameras. It's got an infrared night vision camera with infrared illumination, the monochromatic one. It's got the high resolution 256 by 192 thermal sensor, which is fantastic. And then it's got an ordinary camera. It's 3 completely different styles of cameras. Let me show you how good the thermal imaging is. In Glasgow, swearing, orbs or dust, the orbs, Mr. Eggcake, it's just out of focus specks of dust in front of the infrared lenses. But of course, the paranormal investigations said they're mystical ghost orbs. No, they're not. But I tell you what, it made the heart jump the first time I actually saw one. Let me call up thermal imaging. This can do video. I'm not sure if it could actually. I'm not sure if open camera would actually get the thing. So this is removing all the background stuff, like the overlay stuff. It's not needed. You can see in good detail. Like you can even see beard hairs. It's ridiculously high resolution thermal imaging. It's great. Look how good the thermal insulation of the beard is. Look how bad the bald head is. Oh, it can actually record video as well and take pictures with the thermal camera. It's very good. Weighs a ton. It's the heaviest phone. I was going to say heaviest phone. What about my first ones that were in the old days? The ones that were non-digital. It's the Doogee S98 Pro. Mouse, indeed. I got a warning. It said, your package, there's a problem and it's being held at customs. And then it appeared anyway. It cost £300. Shh, they declared it at £30 in the package. So it came through without duty. That's nice. This is an engineer's phone. Totally an engineer's phone because it's such a useful thing. It's an absolute brick. It's heavy, like 12 ounces. I can't remember what that is in metric, but it's a hefty phone. But it's got a 6,000 milliamp hour battery in it. I've not licked it. No, Retu PMOC. You should video a woofle. I suppose you could actually. Mr. Eggcake, can you show again? I wasn't looking. Does it show your Prince Albert? It can see through clothing. Very handy for fault finding. So that's the Doogee. So far, I've not had it that long, only a couple of days. So far, Very happy with it. Done a virus scan on it, obviously, as one does, just in case. Nothing really obvious showing up. Ordered a case for it, so it's even going to be even thicker and heavier because it's already a bit of a monster. It just barely fits in the pocket. But so far, so good. Indeed. And I'm not a ghost yet because you could still see me. That is true. Can it run Crisis? I'm not really sure. Ah. It is the Doogie S98 Pro. They do an S98, which is standard cameras, but the Pro one has the infrared 256 by 192 resolution, which is the same as in the little tiny module I've got. It plugs into the phone, but this one's built in. It looks an awful lot like your icon. It does at Zadster, my avatar. I've not tried any games. I don't think it's too. Note €529 in France, nuts and proud. Do you know? Now I've had it right. I shall give you a link to where I bought it in AliExpress because AliExpress, it was the official website, web store of Doogie that I bought it from, as far as I can see. Don't buy it from Amazon because you'll end up paying through the nose, as you do on Amazon. Oh, hold on. Just give me a second. One moment, please. Just bear with me. So I'll give you a direct link to and I'll remove all the shite off the end of it. They've got a few options here. Just make sure you get the right one, particularly if you want the thermal. This one, it comes with loads of options, like being supplied with the smartwatch. There's the link to where I bought it from. I just ordered a 100-gram jar of Delta 8 THC. I've landed behind for a year and go solo that people will have to dig to try and beyond to find me. That sounds extreme, John Possum. It is a brick, Mr. Eggcake, but a chunky, useful brick. What do you use for virus scanning on the phone BRM bug? In this case, I used Malwarebytes to scan the phone. Does come pink. You could make your own 3D printed pink case for it. First time joining a live stream. Good day, Clive from Melbourne, Australia. Good morning to you, I'd guess, because at this time, Geek Labs. Could be wrong, though. €431 on AliExpress. Okay. I'm not sure what the exchange rate is for the euro to the pound. I have a Doogie smartwatch. It's basic but reliable, Paul Nickel. I'm going to have to get over saying Doogie. It's Doogie. I refuse to pay more than £90 for a phone. Well, for a standard Chinesey type phone, yes, but one that has the thermal imaging and infrared imaging, it's such a useful tool to have. And it's also fairly powerful. Sex of a refurb unit for $295. Why? Well, that's the same price as I paid for a brand new one. Why would it be refurbished? Why would it be being sold? Is it one that they've cracked the screen and put another screen on? It's no good getting off Ali in Austria. They will catch it, find out the real value, and charge you the full duty, Horvath. That's a bit grim. Yes. Top end spoonie is from Darwin, also in Australia. Do you think it really has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery? I'm not sure, but the charger it came with is the proper full, it increases voltage. It's the quick charge one. Not that I approve of quick charging too much. It shortens the life of the battery. £217 in AliExpress. That's too cheap. That might be the one without the thermal imaging. $344 shipped to me, China North Air Guns. That would be good. Hopefully not getting caught. 291 via your link, Stinky Mo. Absolutely. Mouse says, I've been using Doogie rugged phones for about 6 years, been very happy with them. Looking forward to the S98 Pro arriving. Have you ordered it? That's excellent. Will you still use your plug-in thermal? Yes, it will have its uses as well. But now, with this one in the pocket, that's one of the main advantages. You don't have to worry about remembering to carry the two items now, your phone and the little module. I tested battery my current Doogie phone. It was right in the button, says Mouse. That's useful to know. David Glover AOK is here. Greetings, David. Have you seen these snake oil chargers advertised? They're stating they make the battery have a higher capacity and charge 4 times faster. Dream Hazard, yes. And you can also download shady apps that increase the size of your battery. That's what about that one that supposedly you could give some of your charge to another friend to charge up their battery from your phone? That's like with an app, and it's like, what? What's your favourite connector, Mr. Eggcake? That's a very wide sweeping thing. How many earrings do you wear? Just one. Just one gold hoop, my trade earring. Anything interesting to eat this week? Well, keep in mind, just back from Glasgow. There's lots of interesting stuff in Glasgow. I'm not really sure. It's all very the same in the Isle of Man. Slurry Butterfast, that is true. A smartphone is only as good as the firmware updates it provides. When this arrived, it immediately did a security update. James Robinson, sex or wanks. When I sold them my old GPU, they stuck an extra £100 of what they gave, which is fair enough. They have to make money, but no one buy a card at that price. They do overprice, but people must buy the stuff. You can now always download more RAM, indeed. Jesus Cristo Crucificado. AliExpress going to wonder why they suddenly sold a bunch of Doogie phones to gringos in 18th March 2023. Indeed. I'm going to try it for a while. And then make a review of it on the channel, but it will be one of those, I bought this, it's not provided free reviews. Real. Palmit, the beard is exceptionally bushy at the moment. It's helped by the lack of hair. What about stream snacks? I don't really have much in the way of snacks. Thank you, Jeff. Much appreciated. Oh, I've kept all my old phones too. You always keep the last one as a backup, but it's something you just don't want to part with for some reason. Mr. Eggcake can't be arsed to put my glasses on. Reasonable enough. How loud is the phone when ringing? It's not too bad. I've not really tested it because I don't really get many calls from people. The price of the phone will rise in the next 12 hours. Indeed. No, I'm not giving you the phone number. And if it rings, it gets muted and put through another room. Good evening, Mark Hodgson. Great gift today, a bootload of old bulbs. Really strange stuff, 800 watt with a socket of greater than E27. So that's like going to be the Goliath Edison screw. Is that Goliath I've got in the ultraviolet lamp? Yes, it is. It's the Goliath on the big, huge butt plug lamp. The ultraviolet, Japanese ultraviolet. 400 watt. I'm going to upset some people. I'm going to smash this in a video, and you think, well, that's reckless. It's a shame. It's a brand new Japanese-made lamp, and you're going to smash it. But it's going to be for a reason. It's going to be showing the construction and why it's an absolutely shit idea to use these for ultraviolet, because the Given the choice between a 400 watt lamp like this and 10 40 watt fluorescent tubes, I'd go with the 40 watt fluorescent tubes because they're just going to put out a massive amount more ultraviolet. Sorry, I'm yawning. A Mogul socket. Sometimes they call them Mogul, but Goliath Edison screw, GES is what we call them, Ghibli, in the UK. E40 indeed. Did the Blackview phone ever get a software update? Early on, yes, but not later on. The Chinese aren't as good at updating the phones as the more prominent brands like Nokia and Motorola. You won't get those nice X-ray bonuses of fluorescent. Indeed, Chris Hartley, indeed. Are they cooled when used in theatre? Through Parry. Hagen P's asking. They run very, very hot. Oh, 1 kilowatt bulbs today. Absolutely. Most of the 1 kilowatt fixtures are convection cooled. They get very, very, very hot. That's what I was going to brought across is the power lamp, Power 64, but there's no point. There's nothing really too exciting about a Power 64. Can you make a cast of the Goliath bulb and then 3D print and paint it? You could just emulate it in a 3D printer, Palmet. I could take dimensions off it. So when you smash it, will that release the mercury? No, Bob, because there's an outer shell of wood glass. I can show you this. Get the dust off it. So the reason these are so inefficient compared to the fluorescent tube is the fluorescent tube. If you've seen the insecticutor lamps, they have the blue, they glow blue, but they're putting out a lot of ultraviolet. But they're using phosphor to convert. The partly you're seeing the blue glow inside. It's also got low volume at the moment. You're seeing the blue glow from the fluorescent tube of the gas inside the visible spectral lines, but you're also seeing the conversion with the phosphor to UVA. And then the difference between the insecticutor tubes is that the disco blacklight tubes have the wood glass on the outside. But in this case, if I turn this on, you can see right through it. You can see the mercury globe in there because there is no phosphor at all. It's only filtering out the narrow notch of the UVA from the lamp. So it's just a terrible. It's really inefficient. There's only two that are less efficient, and it's the one with the filament inside to ballast it, and the even worse. Do you remember the ones you used to get that were just basically wood glass, but with a filament inside, and virtually no ultraviolet because it was just relying on this tiny amount of UVA that comes from a filament? What version of Android is it running, New Ninja? It is running Android 12, I believe. Somebody has got the number, indeed. A few people have my number. Care for that thing, indeed. Num, 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 num. Yes. We used to get through quite a lot of these because they used to be used in uplighters that were supposed to be waterproof and they weren't, and a drip of water lands in it, condensation, and it just explodes. And then it puts out UVC when it does, because inside is the quartz envelope UVC discharge lamp. And these things, if they break, they cause problems. There was an interesting accident happened not that long ago. One of the Carnival Club carnival floats in England, the Somerset carnivals, which are really elaborate, they call them carts, floats, carts, it had these lamps exposed with a sort of reflector just built in like flowers, lighting the performers. And it rained, and you could actually, in video on YouTube, you can see it go pop, and then it suddenly goes really bright because the outer glass is broken off. And it exposed the performers directly to UVC and also caused eye discomfort to members of the public when it, like, the float was going along really slowly and stopped every so often, and it was just basically irradiated with UVC. I mean, they'd be sterile. They wouldn't smell anymore. These bulbs are expensive, remember correctly. I don't know because I just installed them. I just didn't buy them. I don't think they're that expensive. Will the thermal camera see through the woods glass? I don't know if it would. Hold on. Will the infrared camera? Because this is infrared night vision. Let's try both those things. Private number called me. Let's go to the infrared first. I shall slurp coffee. 25 to £50 per lamp currently. I wouldn't call that expensive. I'm surprised they're still available. What is it going to look like looking at it like this? Is it going to see me through it? No, it is blocking. It is blocking. So it's blocking the thermal signature, which I'd kind of expect. Is it seeing anything inside? Not really. Okay, now let's try. Let's switch to night vision mode. What does night vision mode think of it? Night vision also sees a dark globe. Is it going to see anything? No, it is blocking the infrared. Hold on, I'll turn the light off so it actually puts on its infrared illumination. Is it going to put on its infrared? Its infrared illumination has kicked in. Oh, did it actually see through that? It's cut back off again because it's detecting it's dark. But it's detect the reflection. It's not needing the light. It's seeing the supercomputer probably. Hold on. I'll put it somewhere dark and see if I can get it to turn on again. Go on, turn your infrared LEDs on. I think it's just because it sees enough in this level of light. It's just done it. Is it seeing through the lamp or is it seeing a reflection? No, it's just turned it off again. It might be seeing the reflection. I think it is seeing through the lamp. Hard to say. Oh, it is. It is seeing through the lamp. It's actually looking at the quartz inside. Hold on, hold on. Just let me... Oh, just as I took the picture, just give me a second here, I'll try and catch a picture of it. Can you see it's, let me see if I can actually go and get this image. It's looked through the woods glass and it's seeing the actual quartz envelope inside in the wires. I could switch the computer off. Light is coming back, watch your eyes. This thing can see in pitch black. It is an actual infrared night vision camera. It's quite an intriguing phone. It's so odd that every single camera in it, all three cameras, are completely different functions. Big red portal behind me. No, that's for nighttime. Does your phone have 2 SIM cards? Nuts proud. It does have 2 SIM cards. Diamond blade and a Dremel. That's going to put lots of fine powdered glass. Jaeger time. It's Jaeger time. Let me think. To the Chinese phone manufacturers for making interesting and useful phones for the engineers. Because, like, let's face it, Samsung and Apple don't give a fucking shit, do they? So, to the phone manufacturers making real phones. Do you think Apple will ever include the thermal imaging camera in theirs? Jaeger drawer capacity specifies 3 shots max. What? The Jaeger drawer capacity is 4 shots. To Chinese phone manufacturers who are being messed about by Western bans because of government, indeed the chipmunk. Lots of stuff. UK Super Rascal, using my iPhone, hotspot USB linked to my laptop to watch him. Aha. Scrolling down. Both their government and ours, yes, governments, they get in the way of progress. Do cat phones have tracks? What? Caterpillar tracks? I wouldn't recommend cat phones, to be honest now. They were never particularly good value for what they did, and the software in them was terrible. This seems a lot better. This didn't come with bloat in it, which is good. That's always good. I'll just put this back in its box so it doesn't get broken yet. We stopped using these when I realised that we're going to get much more bang for our buck of light output, smaller fixture by using 150 watt blue metal halides. And then they said, oh, well, in that case, we'll just not use the fluorescent colours and we'll just go to white lit blue. And it's like, oh, because the fluorescent colours look great with the blue because it made them pop. When arseholes make decisions. I won't cry when you pop it, fan plant. I won't cry either because they were just a blight of my life for a while. Boxes with broken glass, the front glass seized on, and rusted ballasts inside. And you're looking at how does that even work? I think we only had one ballast fail in the whole time with those things. China CCP Big Brother with all Chinese phones. I think you'll find you're loading that yourself with TikTok, probably. The retro UV LED filament lights on Amazon. I have. I'll go and get it and I'll show you it lit, in fact. It makes sense to screw this one into the pink lamp holder. This is Total Barbie. It's a Sylvania lamp. And they've basically just used the warm white LED lamp, but without the phosphor. So it is the deep violet chips. Let me screw this into the pink lamp holder and then give you violet. I can find the socket here. Doesn't look that bright, but it is because it's in the deep violet spectrum area. Something is just avalanched down below. I'll just stand here like this, like a dooley with this. Will it make anything fluoresce in the vicinity? Is it going to make anything fluoresce? Hold on. Oh, it'll make that fluoresce. It makes that fluoresce. This is where if I had my workwear on, it would just be high-vis central. I can see some high-vis stuff in here. Anyway, I shall unplug this again because it's very violet. Watch yourself, the light is coming back. No Android bloat is a vote in of itself. It is. We don't like too much bloatware. Did you see HVAC Overtime, your episode over 2K, normally 700? Oh, right, okay. That's good. I was on HVAC Overtime yesterday. It was it passed quite quickly. It was quite a long one in relative, but they usually only run an hour. It lasted about an hour and a half, I think. Chipmunk is off to put his mum's CPAP mask on. Scrolling. Mercury vapor, I might cry. Mercury vapor, the mercury vapor capsule inside will be kept intact. I will probably try and demonstrate how the difference between the just the wood glass versus the wood glass and phosphor. Nick Sargent says, I have a small UV tube EEPROM eraser from the mid-80s. 90s works well. I made an LED UV box for exposing pre-coated PCBs. Is yours the one, is it a wee aluminium one with a very short fluorescent tube in it? Because that's the type I had. I think it was from, it might have been branded Velamin or something. I'm not sure, but it came from Maplin. Kusaka-san, you're not that late. It's got plenty of time to go yet. Greetings, Raven Looney. Nice hair. Why, thank you, Clodfish. It was featured in a video, chunks of it coming off in the process of shaving it. It is a huge spool of soda behind me, but it's not as big as you might think, sans shoelaces, because of the depth perception going on here. Craig Matthews, sorry I'm wiring a panel up so I'm quiet. That's reasonable enough. See you all off for a walk to the post box. Night to night, says Spookswood. Enjoy your walk. Do you know anyone that can repair lasers? It depends on the type of laser cut off, Ashby. And depends what's actually gone wrong with it. There's so many different types of lasers. Ashley, hi, Clive, back. Cheers from Australia. Greetings back to you. Is it strange to have inductor motors? It's not uncommon to reduce the RF noise from the interference from the arcing brushes if it's a DC motor. Thank you, the Emerald Cosmeti. Belated happy St. Patrick's Day. Is that the Emerald Connection? A vanilla sour beer. Rather interesting, Cambridge Mart. It doesn't sound particularly nice. Vanilla and sour. It sounds like yogurt. I've repaired a few different lasers, Cambridge Mart. The main thing is if you've got a solid state laser and the green doesn't seem to be putting much out, don't look up the end of it even though it looks dim because it's possibly putting out its full power in infrared. Magic says, I've just noticed a UK TV Live is not required to view any of my content. Thanks, Clive. It's not required to view most of YouTube. All the live streams that are put out by people, it's just deception by Capita. I have an LED lamp that flashes and you turn it off. Not unusual, Medic Insider. It goes off and then just does a quick boop afterwards. That's the bootstrap circuit trying to restart it again. Martin Balforth, going to call it now. Mouth feels like crap. 8 teeth removed in one go feel like utter shite. That would be pretty unpleasant, but it'll get better quite quickly. And that's them out the way. You can get your fake ones in now. Used to work in military lasers. Oh, quite extreme. Pieman. Workshop had a cutout in the door if it opened while live. Oh, right, okay. I thought you'd cut a big cutout in the door. At work, we may have actually melted a hole right through someone's drinking chocolate or something like that with a laser while we were testing it. Yeah, never underestimate the power of lasers. It would be a 1 milliwatt wicked laser spider blue, which has simply stopped emitting despite battery working well, and it's out of my sphere of competence. Cut off. Double check the battery connections. Thanks, Mikey Yo-Yo. Come on, the alky rhythms. We'll get the. I'll get the alcohol. Where can you get cheap ballasts? It depends what you're looking for a ballast for. No, I've never put a freaking laser on a shark, but you know, it's something to keep in mind. I'll grab my drink. In the meantime, here's a spoiler. I'll let you absorb that for a moment and just think, what the fuck is it? It should be obvious, actually. Particularly if you saw the device I held up at the beginning. Captain used to visit me, I was always naked. Excellent. Can't buy magnetic ballast lamp fittings anymore. They're all electronic. They do tend to be all electronic these days. You can find some of the older ones on the older ballasts being sold on eBay, but they've gone electronic because it's so much cheaper and lighter. I mean, look at the size difference. What are these ones even rated at? This electronic ballast, this cheapy Chinese one, is rated 8 to 16 watts. So it's good for a tube of, say, a T5 tube of about 12 inches, 300 millimeter, up to 21 inches long. What's 21 inches in millimeters? 16, 17 inches? Millimeter, oh, fuck knows. 21 inch, anyway, whatever it is in millimeters, yes. But this is light. It's just, there's nothing in it. Compared to the traditional ballast, it would have been a huge chunk of copper and steel, or aluminium and steel. Scrolling down. T8 2 foot 18 watt. Okay. It's roughly 10 watts per foot for the big the T8 tubes. The T8 standing for 8/8 of an inch diameter, so it's an inch diameter. So I'm just trying to see topics here. Thank you, Rick Armstrong. Much appreciated. My favourite time of the week, even with the time differential. Aha. One of my favourite fluorescent tubes is, well, the 4-foot ultraviolet tube. I mean, favourite fluorescent tubes. How sad is that? But also the 21-inch 13-watt tube is that I quite like them. Manageable. Yellow lasers are nice, but so expensive. I've got a cyan laser here. It's very attractive colour. Doing fine today, thank you, Fatimo. Definitely need some pervitin. Pervitin. What's pervitin? Pervitin. Perversion. Serves recreational drug second-line treatment for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and obesity. It fueled Nazi Germany. Really? Pilot's salt. Oh yes, they gave them pills. The pilots' pills. The drugs. Yeah, that's lovely. Horvath says it's the Nazi meth. I see. Nightclubs need to sufficient UV tubes. I know. I installed lots in clubs. One club had so much ultraviolet, the whole place was painted ultraviolet, and they used to use them in arcade machines as well. So for those who didn't work out what this was, it's a UVC sanitizer for that you plug into your phone into the USB port, and it sanitizes stuff. And the circuitry is much more complex than I was expecting. I was expecting a couple of resistors, but it turns out the UVC LED has a voltage that is on the edge of USB 5 volts. Didn't Hitler microdose in that? I'm not really sure. Tipex in here UV. What? Jack Attack. Not so sure about the Tipex. The fairgrounds used to use a lot of UV as well. One thing you really shouldn't do with those 400 watt lamps is have them pointing at people directly so they can actually look at them. Psychedelic as they may be, it's too much a concentrated point of ultraviolet light. And I can recall a bowling alley, 10-pin bowling in Glasgow, where the reception desk, the poor people behind it, were just facing a row of those tubes, a row of those lamps, 400 watt mercury lamps. Not good at all. John the Hughes, you can buy 70 watt self ballasted sodium bulb that doesn't require a ballast. The same with the ultraviolet, but very inefficient. I read it's pervert. It is pervert. Thank you, Mr. Eggcake. Much appreciated. Anything 400 watt pointed directly is probably best left as styropyro. Indeed, he makes very good videos, Palmet. Dangerous looking videos, but he seems to really know what he's doing, so that's all right. I shall put these things through. It's going to be whiskey and cream soda. They'll all have skin like a SCS leather sofa, says Simon Coates. Indeed. Thank you, Sean Yam. I'm getting the feeling there's a competition going on here at the moment. Bring back Ascot powders. I remember Ascot powders. I'm not sure if I ever tried them. Lemsip, yes. Carbonate yogurt are too thick. Well, the Advocat carbonated, but it was a bit messy. Whiskey and cream soda. It's a good combination. Nothing beats styrofoam. What? It is cheap whiskey, Pieman. Very cheap whiskey. I wouldn't use expensive whiskey for that. And by cheap whiskey, I mean the type that they say, aged 5 years, blend, but they actually mean a tiny little drop. Thank you, Matty England, much appreciated. And thank you, Slow Nick, and thank you, So Low. Tree Fiddy. Thank you. Never liked CFL, weird spiral and very unreliable for bad quality and too little light. Talking of which, American cream soda is. Talking of small fluorescent lights. Where have I put the small fluorescent lights? Not there. Give me one moment. Ever seen these ones before? I've never seen these ones before. That's why I bought them. Get your whiskey from Ralphie. I could. Ralphie only drinks pretentious whiskey, though. Ugh. I wondered when I saw these if they had a tiny, tiny little ballast inside, because that's what I really want to see. But all I can see up the end of this is a capacitor, little tiny capacitor up there. So it's basic capacitors in line with the two heaters, and it's designed to drive from an electronic ballast. It says 3 watt on the thing, but it says 5 watt in the holographic sticker. So, because it's a holograph, that's what you go by. But underneath, they say 3 watt. Very odd. Dinky little tubes. Not sure what they're for. It's not MR16, no, Zap Sparky. I think it might go into an MR16 holder, but it's closer than that, pins. And it is designed for a ballast, electronic ballast. It won't just drive. I mean, you could put 240 across it. It wouldn't end well. Palmet, the scene from Father Ted. Oh, I can't, Ted. Gambling ruined my father and his father for him. Oh, come on. How many you have? It's for charity. Oh, okay. I'll take 2,000 raffle tickets. Indeed. I have a large box of CFLs for back in the day when they were 10 pence each, when they were being pushed as the government was funding them. Yes, I hoarded them as well. You got a whole pack out of Poundland for £1. I've got a hoard. Yeah, they're collectible in the future, 404 not found. Or just use them for the little toroid cores inside them, because they're you can make jewel thieves out of them. I'm yawning again, sorry. Paul, we've all got boxes of the free compact fluorescent lamps, or the cheap ones. It's an amazing thing that the circuitry in those actually survived. You look how baked and black it is, and yet the transistors still just soldier on. They didn't in the first days. Greetings back to Salford, John. Horde Jack Attack. Like LED and fluorescent lamp wars. Did you get the baluster on the lamps? No, UK Super Ascos, no data on it. I may have to improvise. Very small ballast. Lawson Jones, I do have a lot of crap here. There is unlimited technical crap. It's just ridiculous. Many of the compact fluorescent lamps a capacitor fails because of heat when they're installed in a can light, Jonathan Hughes. They do, but they often, instead of actually just going out, they'll end up flickering at 50 or 60 hertz. Well, 100 and 120 hertz. Volt R2M stereo capacitive dropper ruins the heaters at the end. It has to actually pass current through heaters. So this is designed for running with a fairly high frequency supply owing to the little series capacitor with the filaments. They'll just blacken and sputter. But I showed this to the patrons already. I'll show you guys as well the other lamp I brought over with me. A neon flicker flame lamp from America. A really big neon flicker flame lamp, but no base, because it was I took the base off ages ago. I got this decades ago in America. The Americans have the advantage of the 110 volts being much closer to the voltage of the neon lamp. Probably results in a bit more flicker, but it means the resistor in the base doesn't get as hot. But in this case, you couldn't really run this off 240. With a standard resistor, the base would get very hot. I will hook it up though in a video. Brad's Guitar Garage, greetings. Welcome to the bloody time zones, indeed. The time zone's the same as normal. Has yours changed, Brad? Because ours hasn't changed yet. National Lottery is a con. My wife bought one when they came out and did not win. She's never bought one since. True story. How many people, GS1512, have bought National Lottery tickets every week because they feel that the week they don't, that's when the numbers will come up? Do jewel thieves have any practical use beyond lighting LED? Can they be scaled up to use multiple batteries? Not really, George S. They were really originally intended just for lighting an LED, white LED from a dead cell. Have you ever wake up and I need to change jobs? I was builder, now I'm a care worker. Vonnie Blues. Is that looking? Are you looking after an elderly relative, Vonnie Blues? If you aren't, it's Alzheimer's. Look up my video on that. You'll find it very useful. If it's that. Curd, nothing beats flickering and failing commercial LED light panels. Do you know, if you look at the back rooms, which is a culture on YouTube, it's basically is it liminal spaces where you get trapped in this endless office and there's entities in it, and it's quite well done. But one of the things, there's one with a carnival theme, and thank you, Paul Norman, much appreciated. They've got signs that say like Fantasyland or something, and you know, in the past, neon signs would have flickered. Paul Norman, have a coffee on me. I hope everyone is well. Thank you. I will. You know how neon signs, when the letters went out, they'd flicker on and off. Well, in their case, because it's a young person that wrote this, that designed this environment, they've only seen their failing LED signs, and they go pulse, 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 pulse. And they've implemented, so the sign's going pulse, 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 pulse. And it makes you realise that our older generation, we're used to the neon flicker failure. But now, of course, with LEDs, the signs are strobing on and off. Garbage user, I just restored a 1933 Corinthian Aladdin lamp. Is that it's not the. No, I think it's something different. Is it? Is it the one with the mantle, the radioactive mantle, the thorium mantle? The Aladdin lamp it's really bright because it's got a cylindrical airflow up the middle. If that's the one I'm thinking of, then Ralph's got one of my dad's old one that works really well, very bright. I have early onset of dementia, happy little fox, aka Benji. Sorry to hear that if you have, that's not so great. But do keep in mind that when me and my brother went through this with my mum, it made us paranoid. Anytime we forgot a word, we were thinking, is this us slipping into dementia? But then you realise that everybody forgets words from time to time. Raiden Sama, MIG or TIG? TIG. Cleaner. You tired, Clive? Too much bed, not enough sleep. I've been sleeping well, but just for some bizarre reason, I've just been really tired. I'm going to sleep very easy. Just ordered greasy dinner, fan plant. I see. You missed a super chat, did I? Oh, Chipmunk, I missed your super chat. Thank you, Chipmunk. Clive, can I have a drink for Fama's mum's stroke? Ah. We shall. We shall slip in an extra. It's Wiffle time, but we'll slip in an extra Jägermunion for Fama's mum and hope she makes a recovery from that. To Fama's mum. It's Wiffle time. Stand back. There's going to be a Wiffle. Wiffle. And another. Wiffle. Have you guys seen this thing that's been happening? Where the fake Elon Musk invest and, win a prize or, double your Bitcoin thing videos. And they've been taking over people's YouTube channels. And the way they've been doing it is very interesting. They've been getting hold of their two-factor authentication with a virus that just basically grabs the cookie and hands over the two-factor enabled control over to the person trying to take over the account. If you have a big YouTube channel, if you have an important Google account, I strongly recommend the U2F key for protection. It's not infallible. They'll always find a way around things, but at this point in time, it's kind of important. Hmm. 91 is a good innings. Oh, already dead. Oh. Didn't realise that. Hmm. I'm so sick of 50,000 backwards just to live, passwords just to live life. Grad's Guitar Garage is annoying because I used to in the old days use a fairly weakish password for lots of different things, and I still use a weak password for low criticality sites, but for anything secure these days, it's a stupidly complex and annoying password. It's just something, and you have to change them every so often just as a precaution. Hmm. The two-factor authentication, the U2F, is different. It uses a key that you plug into USB port or use Bluetooth connection, and it responds with an encrypted code specific to your key, uh, and I think it shifts as well. Not 100% sure, but it is the most secure way at the moment, but not infallible. Nothing's infallible. There's always a way around that. I adopted it as soon as Google actually suggested it. Said that because like your channel's getting quite big, we recommend going to this. So I went with it. But also, um, it was recommended. I noticed a friend had a little blinking LED in the side of his MacBook. I think it was, and I said, "What's the blinking LED?" And he said, "It's the encryption key." And I hadn't come across them before, and I thought it was quite neat. I think that's when I started investigating them. EOW, you're falling asleep easy. You should go and have yourself checked out since I'm the same way and found out I have low blood pressure. Ah, dunno. I couldn't sleep at all in Glasgow at the beginning and then caught up and then couldn't stay awake initially. When I came back here, I was so tired. Normally I stay up late at night, but I was getting to bed at like 1 and 2 in the morning instead, which is early for me. The portal people keep me awake. It is Frango Walker. It's like not fun going to bed. At least protect your email and bank password. The bank and passwords are super complex and yeah. Gary Glitterback said a 6-year-old split on him. What? Google Titan key was cracked. Oh, that's not so great. Everything will be defeated. It's a puzzle for the programmers. Thank you, Stuart Cleary. Have you ever had your arteries checked for blockages, i.e. the Widowmaker? I'm going to get it done soon. One symptom is tiredness. I don't want to worry. Ah. No, I've not really done that. Hmm. Can you get melatonin where you are? It helps you sleep well. No, not sure, John Poss. Never considered that. Yes, the nighttime disturbances, they've been always since I was a kid, yeah. 1.5 minutes ahead. Horvath, I know the clock is not super accurate. It is drifting. I used to have migraines in the past, but they stopped when I was young. Frank Walker, my bank sends me a text to confirm it's me accessing my account. Do you know, if I make a big transaction or a transaction at a different location than normal, John Payton, the YubiKey is also good. If I make a transaction anywhere that's unusual at all, or a big transaction on the bank, it won't let it through until I've confirmed it on my phone, which is good. but it's in the app on the phone. It also lets you lock the account if you're suspicious. If you lost your card, you can lock that card out. If you're suspicious something's going wrong, you can lock the whole account. This is quite good. Hmm. Oh, Mr. Phil says, I've dealt with a sewer pipe inspection reporting software that uses USB dongle as an encryption device, and it costs close to $1,000 to replace what was lost. The dongle is your license. Yeah, that often happens with some of the entertainment industry stuff. How long is the stream tonight? It will probably end about after the 2 hour mark, which is in about, say, 30 minutes' time. Thank you, William Nemo. Much appreciated. Great to hear that voice and enjoy your wisdom. Thank you. All that is fast becoming standard since online-only banks started offering it. Indeed, Tone. If 2FA is stolen by cookies, Scream Chat, they can change that to a USB YubiKey and lock you out. If they steal the 2FA, yes, Scream Shaw. I don't use the phone two-factor authentication and Google. If you get time to 4 p.m. to 6 p.m, YouTube Andy Wright talking really live show. Okay, not sure who that is. Andy Wright. Oh, diesel particulate filters. Yeah, they're expensive. Thank you, Spinkter. Much appreciated. The beard is looking especially great today. Was anything special done, Fama? I did put beard oil on it yesterday. That just involves putting a bit in your hands and just putting it all over and going like that and getting it all in. It just gives it a sheen, gives it a depth. Just trying to catch up here. So was your diesel particulate filter, did someone try to steal it from your vehicle? Was it a catalytic converter or something? Say it's been tampered. Have you ever managed to solve a Rubik's Cube? Yes, Bob Apples. I did so when I was young, but the novelty wore off very quickly. You have to be just careful with security these days online. I mentioned this in the past, but things like, because of things I've said in the streams, I went onto critical sites and changed it so like the first pet's name and the first vehicle, they're not what they actually were. They're changed to fictitious things that are stored in a safe database. Get a dog up your guts. Why, thank you, Brad's Guitar Garage. I'm not sure what a dog up your guts is. It sounds like rectal penetration, actually. It's a bit odd. Thank you. A dog up your guts. In the USA, people are stealing catalytic converters. Horovac, someone came over here and started advertising, we buy catalytic converters. And then that's when they started being stolen. Because the cost of platinum has been driven up. Oh, it means have a drink on me. All right, okay. Get a dog up you. Okay. It sounded like rectal insertion of a hot dog. I wasn't really sure because I know you Australians do some weird things. That would redefine dogging. At least you don't have ULEZ crap on LLM. What is ULEZ? Hold on. ULEZ. Ultra low emission zone. Oh yeah, London, where Now all the rich people have got electric cars. Let's penalise the poor people even further. Oh, I guess you're going to have to get rid of your old car. Fuck off, you inbred bureaucratic fucktards. There we go. That's the channel, the video demonetized. It's fine. They all get demonetized anyway. Because I'm so rude. All it takes is a drink and then it's just effing blind and shit and everything. Ah. Oh, Portsmouth, Bristol, etc. Just buy a 70,000 new car, that's funding what it is. And all the people that are quite happy about this new low emission are government employees getting free electric cars at our expense. That was another rant. Get a bike. Oh, I don't, it's getting the Lycra and stuff like that. And then it's having to learn to shout at people properly and drive slowly along busy roads. Horavac. Maybe the answer is to just put a sticker in your petrol car, diesel car that says electric. And put a huge battery in the back and just plug it into the free charging points they used to have and just steal their electricity and use it to run your home appliances. Put a Powerwall in the back, a Tesla Powerwall, in the back of your diesel van and steal all the power. Catch you about, Hagen P. See you next week. Reddit Forster, from the end of August, it will cost me £15 per day if I want to take my vehicle daily anywhere near London, which I don't, thankfully. And I think that's £100 for my old Volkswagen T4. Just fucktards. Just ignorant. What can you do? I've got a 2 kilowatt battery in my van, says Dream Hazard. Excellent. I still believe hydrogen fuel cells are the future of motoring. That's something I want to try. Think of the catalysts and those, the membranes, Bob Apples. I have to try the little dehumidifier module in a plastic container for the filament and see if it's viable to have a very low power solid state dehumidifier for the filaments. Well, if I was running a trade vehicle in places, I'd simply add it onto the bill as the ultra low emissions surcharge, particularly if it's government, and I'd multiply it by 10. Mertz calls them hybrids if the car is a plug-in block heater. That's reasonable enough, Jerry BVR. Well, it is electric. Of course, he's Dakota, isn't he? He's in a cold area. Is it Dakota? Mertz is in. It's just outside Canada. That's what Thomas Nagy did with parking tickets. Oh, did he? Put it on as a surcharge. Well, there's the silly canteen caps order. People are starting to wonder about me. Really, I blame you, Clive. Canteen caps. Oh, the catering cap. Elite Arbor, enjoy your hats. Les starts June in Glasgow, I'm sure. Really. Jack Attack. One good thing about Glasgow, George Square, they'd been saying it for so long, but it never happened. They were going to make it more pedestrian friendly. They've actually done it. They've narrowed the 3-lane road down to 2-lane, which means it's much safer to cross than the 3-lane was. Also, they've closed off at least one end, which means that, and it's just basically tabling for a Weatherspoons pub now. It just makes it actually a nice place to go. It's not surrounded by cars blasting round all the time. Thomas Nagy-Prez pronounced Noi. I never worked out what it was. I haven't seen him around for a while. I wonder what he's doing. Redhead First, electric bikes are very affordable. It doesn't have to be a super powerful one, but that's quite nice, I guess. The ones that take off like the proverbial 2-bob rocket between your crotch. Malus spectrum, I'm used to that cubes. Optimus is so variable. Graham Shaw, Rubik cube. I don't think that's a requirement. I mean, I find Rubik's cubes just not terribly exciting, but if you got into them, I suppose they would be quite good. Serious, there is a malware attacking banking apps on Android. Oh, right, okay. That wouldn't really surprise me. He pronounced it Naji. Oh, right, okay. If you're heavy set, the tracks are an option, Treasure Broke. I've had Chinese vendors say, choose a electric bike and we'll send you one free for review, but nah, not my style. Living in a flat makes all electric car impractical. Bill Richards, that's what confuses me about Glasgow. So many electric cars appearing in Glasgow and in the vicinity of flats. I think they're relying on going to local charging points, which seems more inconvenient than anything else. Star Delta is here. Greetings, Star Delta. Thomas Nagy rhymes with Badgie. See, that's how I was pronouncing it, Nagy. Badgie. You should get it and mod it. I could. Actually pronounce it Nodgy. Oh, right, okay. Maybe I'll just pronounce it Nerdle. Barclays banking app is flaky, leading to embarrassing moments at the checkout. I've not used that brand. Is Navy practical in Glasgow? The city's pretty big, but it's all mainly blocks of flats, so it's not super practical. I don't see a huge number of charging stations, although all the buses are going electric in Glasgow. They go really fast and slick. Very impressive. I know, I walked in front of one recently. Just missed it. Missed me. By a whisker. I hope it was an electric one. That would be worth it. I don't think it was, though. How many have given reviews for a gift card? I'm not really sure. No, this one. I don't accept product promotions and payment and stuff like that. I just find it just annoying. It's not my style. Because I'm shit at business. Barclays are too cheap to use Google Pay like everyone else. I do use Google Pay. I find that convenient. Should we be using Google Pay, though, and Apple Pay? Or should we stay using cash? Because it makes it very traceable. And also, of course, every time there's a transaction, they take a wee slice. Remy Russell, First Glasgow are building a massive electric charge centre at the buses that can be used by businesses public during the day. There's one opposite where the old container base used to be in Glasgow, at the Gorbals, and it's quite neat chargers. Quite fancy taking one to bits, actually. Hear me out. Are the flexible filament decorative E27 lamps dimmable with a capacitor? That depends on the circuitry inside them, Frank. It's very hard to tell the difference, but there's only one way to find out. Put a capacitor in series, and if they start going pulse, 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 then no. But if they dim, then it should be okay. How do I get started in electronics? I'd like to learn this stuff maybe a little. Jebediah Allen, just start playing with stuff is the best way. Taking stuff to bits, exploring it, watching YouTube videos, not necessarily just mine, but other people's as well, and just get a feel for it. I have to say that YouTube has become an absolutely premium educational resource. It's fantastic and it's free. It's just like amazing. I never thought this would happen. There's so much good stuff. I've picked up so much knowledge about subjects that I wouldn't ever have thought I'd even have an interest in. It makes it very easy to learn. Stuart Cleary, don't worry about it. walk in front of an electric vehicle. Apparently, electric vehicle owners are very used to people walking in front of the silent death because, well, they know it happens a lot. It's been a long week, really short and industrial marine sparkies just now. Wish there was more hours in a day. That's good. It's a niche market, Star Delta. It keeps you busy. The Arrow IOM ferry is sitting up here in Stornoway since months as a standby ferry. Did you ever travel on it? I'm not sure about that. The Arrow. Don't know about that. It doesn't come to mind. Ben McCree, Lady of Man, and other things like that, yes, but not one called the Arrow. Everybody's trace with smartphones, they are. Just use Bitcoin, indeed. I haven't carried cash in 20 years. Since COVID, I've not carried cash. The Google Pay is very handy. No polls tonight. Polls. What would it be? I don't know. Not sure what a good poll would be. Time for bed, says Frank. Sleep well. Scamcoin. CameraTim.com. Yeah, you know what? If you think Bitcoin's a scam, whatever, keep in mind that the paper and plastic notes we have now are just basically vouchers. And the banks were supposed to hold big gold reserves equal to that, but they've basically diluted that. So your notes don't have real value. They're just IOU vouchers, and they can cancel them at any point in time. Brad's Cadargarge. I get lots of destroyed amps where people tried to copy this on YouTube though. You can bridge the amps for maximum power. Boom. Is that the ones you're talking about, Brad? Have a poll, but the snag is we had a poll to say, should we have a poll? People would say, yes, we should have a poll, but not actually help. Bitcoin is established, as far as I'm concerned. It is a currency. Will it ever get cracked in a way? Will processing power get so high that it will basically be cracked by the processing power? Don't know. Thank you, Stuart Cleary. Lover's Dreams, Clive. Are you a cashless world advocate, Clive? And have you ever smoked tobacco? Not really smoked tobacco. Tried it when I was young, made me sick. I was trying to do it because adults did it. Didn't like it. Went and got myself some Benson the Hedges from the local supermarket, from the local newsagents, and told them they were for my mum. And then I tried smoking them, and it made me feel really ill. Cashless is handy, but to be honest, I'd like to see us go to social credits where people don't necessarily have to work. You get that allowance. Can't remember what it's called. But you get an allowance, and it's up to you if you work to boost that up. Because I think there's always going to be people who want to work because they get pleasure from working. Bends in the hedges, indeed. Universal basic income, that's the one, Alan C. China North Air Guns, not agreeing with that. Don't know. I watched Eric O recently, Brian Cox, trying to diagnose that fault and finding the rogue current draw. The reason he was having a problem with his DC clamp meter at the low current settings is because they are very sensitive to magnetic fields, and he was zeroing it and then putting it into the engine. Then he's zeroing it away from the metalwork and then putting it near the metalwork. There's a knack to using them. Money for nothing, it is, Rory McLeod, but you know what? Think of it in the style of the Star Trek spaceship where everybody's on that spaceship and they've got a certain amount of credits. I don't have a problem. I'm happy to work. I like work. It's basically getting to play with big toys that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. It just feels good to work for some reason. I think some of us are just built to work. To be honest, I'd rather people like health and safety officers were paid just to stay at fucking home, quite frankly, if you know what I mean. Because, I'd rather they didn't actually work because they don't seem to have anything to contribute to society. And it's actually worth paying them to stay in their bed and stay out of our way, if you know what I mean. That and various other industries, lawyers, politicians, stay at home. We'll give you money to stay at home. It's cheaper in the long run. No contribution equal death. Then, yeah, that's a bit severe, yes. Nuts proud. I was health and safety officer, fair but firm. As long as you're fair, it's fine. And as long as you stop people doing really stupid stuff, but if you're some narcissistic wee midget who just has a go at the big guy, like I used to experience that all the time, then no. We haven't talked about mercury rectifiers quite some time, Sphincter. No, we haven't. But that tube I had there could mercury rectify. The mercury vapor discharge tube with its internal igniter, which we'll reveal when I smash the outer envelope. I'm going to feel guilty about breaking the outer envelope, but I feel I need to tell people that the 400 watt UV lamps are just not a good choice. Unless you want a heater. Napoleon syndrome, indeed, Jerry BVR. Indeed. Smoking killed a lot of people. We still have to find out what vaping is going to do in the future. It's better than smoking, but we'll see what happens. I've seen anti-vaping propaganda, which is just embarrassing. Have you guys seen that video? It's this athlete with a strange floppy mouth going like that. And then someone comes out and says, "Where's your mouth? Lol." And this guy lost his mouth because he was vaping. And it's like, how the fuck does that work? I don't think so. Is this some extreme tobacco industry weird propaganda? What time is it? It's almost. It is almost, right? Tell you what. Things to drink a. Let me think. Things to drink a Jägermeister to. I'm not really sure. Lip cancer. I'm still concerned about the amount of flavourings they're putting in and the extremity of those. I got a vape the previous time I was in Glasgow, and it was nicotine free, but I couldn't even use it. It was just offensively strong. You might as well be squirting airwick in your mouth. Maybe I accidentally burnt his mouth off, Minky Moo too. It could have exploded in his mouth, yes. Come and use SodaStream Jaeger. Did I not SodaStream Jaeger already? I distilled it. Did I SodaStream it? I can't remember. I'm going to have to look at it. To Furbear. We could do another one to Furbear, but Furbear has had quite a lot of toasts. Yeah, I did SodaStream it. I thought I did, and it was quite fizzy. Are you still working for PRG these days? No, Lord Jovo. Because I'm freelance, I work for whoever gives me the work. And technically speaking, it was all Neg Earth equipment last time, but the main job, I'm working directly for the Edinburgh Military Tattoo. Does that mean I'm a military contractor now? That sounds very glamorous, yes. Jaeger was the very first carbonation video. Drink to transistor, best invention ever. That would, there we go, Palmet. That is correct. To Texas Instruments. Not a sponsor, they are. To Texas Instruments for the first manufactured transistor, which didn't even have a number because it was just the transistor. and the first microcontrollers. And also he had a wee background line in explosives as well. But the marketing company told me not to mention the explosives and made me actually not release that video. And I released it on Patreon, and then people shared it on a Texas Instruments forum, and they were very angry. And then they contacted me and asked me to take it down. To Texas Instruments, one of the more interesting companies. That's a mega toast. It was a mega toast, Palmet. It's worth it. It's Texas Instruments. Pretty fucking impressive company. Lots of interesting chips. It's one of these things that if you've got a critical product, you don't use cheapy Chinese stuff, you use proper Texas Instruments stuff. Some of their stuff is interesting. I featured a few chips in that video. I plucked some from their collection. They've got some weird ass chips. Very interesting though. First transistor was point contact, nuts and proud. Was it Bell Labs? Started because finding oil. I think that's why they used explosives to sound the ground, Marky and Gooley. They've got a really interesting history. BFY 51, John Payton. I used to use those transistors quite a lot. Incorrectly, apparently. I used them in Night Rider lights for cars when I should have been using a different transistor for that. Because, yeah, trying to remember. Can't remember. But interesting company. Military contractor, does that mean you can be like Babcock and charge a Navy £8,000 to swap a field LCD monitor on a ship? Yes, probably. Callum Rowley. I'm not that greedy. Callum, you were working for the military too, weren't you? That means you're a military contractor too. Relish the image. Callum was working with us. I think it's Callum Rowley was working with us as a follow spot operator this year. Did a great job. All the follow spot operators do a great job. You get much more protection from the elements than the previous follow spot operators used to have, yet you're still exposed to the wind and rain. Ain't Big Ain't Clever. It's a collaboration everyone forgets about. What was that? Dennis, what's Ain't Big Ain't Clever saying? Dennis, TRSAT was Tandy Radio Shack. Hi. I used to go into Tandy a lot when I was a kid in the 80s and play with the computers and program them. Late 70s, 80s. And I think I sold them a lot of computers because the adults would come in and it was all the latest thing. It was if you don't get your child a computer, they'll be mental retards. It's like, that's how they were selling it. Every kid's getting into computers and yours will be left behind and they will be a humble bin man. So they'd say, which computer should I get for my kid? And we'd say, we'd play the card in the favour of the kid and say, just get this one. It's got everything. So the salesmen were absolutely delighted that the kids were on the computers because I think we sold a lot of computers for them. We were just playing the computers as well. MOSFET was also Bell Labs, Monkey Man here. Did not know that. What's the link to you spitting the drink out? Just look for moonshine. Search my videos for moonshine. I have a Radio Shack 9-volt battery around 1979 that's still working, Bragg says. What type of battery is it? What was I looking at recently that came from Tandy? What was I looking at that came from Tandy? Oh, no, I was looking at something. I know what it was. Tecmon featured the kaleidoscope, the LEDs in it that went to the audio. Ralph's heading back across. I've left a pile of stuff in Glasgow for Ralph to bring across in the van. One of them is one of those, the original Tandy one. I'll reverse engineer it. Tandy and EK was quite a small shop, I remember. It was Ramey Russell. Very narrow shop, but it had everything that was needed, really. I went in a lot. The TRS 80s were just on the left in the front door of the shop. And then at the back, it was just the walls of components, the overpriced LEDs in little plastic bags. Pattern the bottom of your glass is similar to carbonation cap. It is. It's very stripy. Budweiser. Courtesy of Evolution. Has Evolution been on tonight? I've not really spotted them. Greetings, Joe, HVACR North. That was a good stream yesterday. It passed in no time. I still have a scanner from Tandy at Storks, as do I, John Boy. As do I. It was used for all sorts of nefarious things. It's back long enough in the past that it would pick up mobile phones. You could listen to the conversations. I used to take it away with me when we were in accommodation, and like my co-workers, we'd all sit around the scanner and listen to people's phone calls. And I remember one, it was like, and that's when Granny came in, and all the kids were so excited. She gave them the present. They're all going, oh. And then she sat down and died. And they all went, oh. That's strange. Thank you, Palmet. Much appreciated. Blow another bunny, says the happy little fox, A.K. Benji. I'm not blowing a bunny up in a long time. Have you taken part Guinness and Edge on the channel? Philip Shanahan. I was looking for one when I was back in Glasgow. I couldn't find one. I may have to try and find one online. That means I'm going to have to stick a random can of stuff in it, because I don't think I can get NitroSurge cans here. I'll just stick random things in and surge them. It's going to get taken apart anyway. Evil Bunny, don't blow me up. I'll try not to. Just let me know if I'm going to blow you up. Late at night, it was all the married people secretly calling their mistresses in the loo. Indeed, Electron Box. Beckar says, I picked up a bunch of those overpriced components in individual plastic bags from Radio Shack. They were going out of business. So nostalgic indeed. That's where I got my Forrest M. Mims books as well, from that shop in East Kilbride. "900 megahertz analog mobiles on the scan along with the local plod on UHF. The snag is, Mr. Mock, you only got one side of the conversation, but sometimes the other side bled through. Dare I say it, I did listen to neighbours' calls. Oh well, but then people could have listened to mine as well. They wouldn't have been exciting. Are you available for work? Well, hell yeah. Okay. I used to be really embarrassed. When I first got my first mobile phone, I was really embarrassed about it, because like, you saw people going, oh look, I've got a mobile phone in public, and prancing about with it, because it was a status thing. You used to also, I remember seeing someone with the phone over their groinal area on their belt, walking around with their shirt open, going, oh look, I've got a mobile phone. So I used to be like, the phone would go off and I'd be like, hello? Trying to hide it. Do you like Baileys? I do like Baileys, Pugster Josh. I have a bottle of Baileys here, which I was supposed to distill, but it's going to ruin the distillation chamber, isn't it? Blow up Bohemian Grove. What? I used to listen to mobile phone conversation during EMC testing, Nick Sargent says. I mean, really, it's before it was digital. It's before, I suppose that was 1G, was it? I don't know. But it's definitely before 2G. Don't know. And then they switched to digital and they were saying, oh, it's going to upset all the hearing aids or something like that. But it was secure at that point. Used to listen to conversations with Fast Lane, the Americans were based there. Rick Dastardly. That's interesting. I wonder what they were like. Don't blow up any monkeys, Monkey Man here. I wouldn't blow up a monkey. Baileys and brandy, a great drink. I never tried that. First Mate 99. Before SIM cards. No, Mr. Mocky. The SIM card was the size of a full-size credit card in my first phone. It was huge, with the big aerial on top as well. Wish I'd kept the first one, but they did an exchange thing. They were wanting to take it off you before they gave you another phone. Ah. I could pick up my neighbour's baby one to my bedside radio. Yes, Eddie Munster. And also you get the little plug-in things that can sometimes pick them up too, the ones that transmit it over the mains. Bailey's will destroy it, 90% sure ELW. It may clean out afterwards, but yeah, not a great idea. It's going to be very sticky by the time it's finished. But I tried carbonating Bailey's, it wasn't very good. SIM was digital though, Mr. Market. I guess it was digital. I'm not really sure what was on the SIM. Dunno. Clive, what's your ringtone? Mine's a light pinky brown. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Simon Coates. Changing the tone of your, what was it? Changing your ringtone or something like that. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yes. What's the temperature and humidity? Humidity is a bit high, but the temperature is a ridiculous 12 degrees Celsius, I think. Let me just check that. No, it's just 10 degrees Celsius. That's fine, though. Glasgow is warmer. Jink ferals are good, Clive. In the correct situation, yes, Optimus Prime. The ferals are very useful. But don't buy them from eBay because they may not be copper. And don't use the ferrules unless they're crimped on properly onto wires. Don't use them in the spring-loaded terminals because the wire could theoretically pull right out of the thing. That's where a screw going down hard into the ferrule could actually be advantageous, I suppose. Do you remember the compact flash mini hard drives? Yes. I kind of do. PCM-CIA are you talking about? I'm not really sure, Lockwatcher. That's too thick and cold. No, Minky Moo 2. It's perfect. It's too hot. Look, I'm shaved and I'm not even got a hat on. The stream's already overrun a bit. That's all right. It'll go on for another 6 minutes and end at 20 minutes past. SIM cards are all digital. Yeah, but what about the first SIM cards, the full credit card size cards that were used in the first phones? Have you lost your temper this week? I have, Arthur Two Sheds Jackson. I was very frustrated. I was thinking of some obnoxious company, the management of it, who were just really unpleasant. And it annoyed me greatly, and I wanted to behead them. Not that bad, actually. Skinhead, yeah. It's the easiest way to get a haircut. Mercury Vapor, maybe one Woofle, maybe a whoosh actually instead of a Woofle. They were literally digital. I would expect to be digital, Chipmunk. But the transmission of the phone signals wasn't digital. I remember buying the phone. I went into it was a place on, can't remember, was it Victoria Road or something? I went in and they were the agents, and it was really expensive mobile phones in the early days. It was £1 a minute, which was a lot back then. It was really expensive, plus an ongoing charge, and buying the phone in the first place was astronomically expensive. I went in, it was this pretentious man and woman in the place who were an agent for the communication company. And they said, "Oh, we've got a new set." He said, "I've got a new set of the cards coming in. We'll just..." And she's like weeding out all the prime numbers from it, the good numbers. But the one she left in was 007. And I said, "Oh, I'll take 007." And you could see her go, "Oh shit, I missed that one." And I said, "Though not sure it's great as an electrician licensed to kill." Lol. I stuck with that number for a while. Wish I still had that number. I mean, quite good. The first SIMs were for 2G. Was the 2G... I mean, the first phone was analog. It wasn't digital, it literally transmitted an analog RF signal. It wasn't encoded in any way, and it still had a SIM, but it was a full-size credit card size SIM. When you lose your temper and an angel loses its wings, well, fuck the angels, Monkey Man here. They deserve it, bastards. Coming down, spying us while pleasuring myself, screw the angels. I'm the Beelzebub, thank you. The first was the Mobara stuff in the 70 centimetre. I just miss the flashing antennas. Smart meters use 2G, most things do. A lot of stuff still uses 2G. Oh no, it's 5G streetlights. G stands for generation. 2G was the first digital networks. Then it wouldn't have been 2G then, because it wasn't digital, my first one. Mine would have been first generation, Mr. Mock. It was early on. When it used to just drop the phone call repeatedly, you'd answer it, drop it and charge you another £1. Very annoying, but at the time, I was kind of required one. It's the Hussman era. I was required to have one for Hussman, just because it meant you could accept the work when it was there. So it kind of paid its way. When it was kind of special to have the phone. And it wasn't the big, huge carry phones with the really brick-sized phones that used to bring onto building sites. It was one you could fit. Well, I'm not sure what year it was, but you couldn't fit it in your pocket. You actually had a holster that you wore, like a gun holster that you had the phone in under the arm. Because one of the Hussman guys got accosted by the police because someone reported him for having a gun, and it wasn't. 2G won't be turned off. Too many devices need it. Nuts and proud indeed. Did we go to the news system? I think we did. Yeah, because I fitted a news system. Can't really talk about that. For controlling something. Mumble, military. Mumble. Pull their trousers down, flying monkey. What? Can we see your portal? No, I don't want to even see the portal again. If I could take a picture of it, if I could take video, it'd be fantastic. It was really visually pleasing, but not the sort of thing you want to see just randomly appearing on the wall, well, on a mirror, in your bedroom in the middle of the night. My first cell phone was a 5-watt bag phone. That's the type that used to appear in building sites initially. Mine at least was one that fitted in the holster. It was quite thick. It was kind of brickish, but not super mega. Not the mega brick size thing. Probably it would have fitted... No, it wouldn't have fitted in this glass. It was big. Now, of course, and you think, oh, well, thank goodness they make small phones. No, we don't want small phones. We want big ones with thermal imaging and infrared night vision. That's what we want. The only thing that's missing from this, and they'll maybe introduce it again in the future because they've done it before, is the actual laser rangefinder on it as well would have been quite useful. I want everything in the phone. But the stream is now coming to an end. It will end on a whoosh. It will end on a Co-op dry shampoo whoosh, because it's quite boomy, isn't it? That is quite fierce, and it's quite hot. And smells floral. But anyway, the stream is about to come to an end. Now I have to edit that video. Well, there's not much editing. We'll check it, see if it's any good, or if I've really fucked it up, and then release it on Patreon. I shall do that right now. So I shall catch you next week. Patrons, I shall probably see you on Thursday as usual, and I shall see the rest of you on Saturday. And it will still be the hour out from America because our clocks don't go forward till the next day. So until then, have a good week, and I shall see you then. Awkward moment.